Hello and welcome back to Redlock as we get into some warm-ups for our second and final semifinals winners bracket match of the weekend. I'm Dio. I'm joined by iFlame for this match. What's up, man? And I just realized now that everything I said was not in Discord. So iFlame, hello, man. What's up, man? Doing just fine. Hope you're also doing well. We get into the second and last winners bracket matchup of the weekend. Right after the first one, I'm hoping this is quite a close match. It's Seed 2 versus Seed 3. It's Birchman versus Wanderio. These are the two kind of rising stars of Canadian rank restricted and now Canadian open rank for these two players. Especially in 4-digit World Cup, both of them were very vital assets to the team, but Wanderio especially was a key player for Canada's 4WC team, and not having this warm-up, I guess. I understand. Also a player who didn't even have a Canadian flag until somewhat recently. Only this year changed his flag from, I believe it was Hong Kong, to Canada. So a very recent addition to even the pool of Canadian players, and has been a very, very good one for these for this country in some other country locked tournaments so far.
Through our first warm up, I believe it's still one warm up remaining. But these two players have been performing incredibly well so far throughout the tournament. Have had a fairly easy time of the winners bracket so far. This is definitely going to be both of their biggest challenges yet. Some interesting overlaps in the skill sets, some differences as well. Both players have had pretty good performances on some of the more gimmicky maps, both doing really well on last week's No Mod 6. But Wanderio definitely much more comfortable on some of the DT picks, some of the faster maps, whereas Wanderio has kind of specialized more in the mechanical aim focused maps as well as some of those heavy reading maps.
Now, we'll see which of those slight specializations works out better for these two here. At this level, you will, I think, start to see some differentiation in those skill sets just because of the overall difficulty of the pool. Back in the qualifiers, I think it was a little bit simple for both of these players to just, play well and have a solid run on basically every map. But now the pool is a good half star rating harder than the qualifiers. I think we're going to see them start to specialize more into their own skill sets.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be how it goes, I think, for both these players. By the time you get to the semifinals, you can't, for the most part, most players can't just breeze through the entirety of the pool any longer. So definitely want to see how that plays out. Curious what the bans are going to look like here, because Wanderio, I believe, has looked incredibly good on these kind of reading focus picks, but Birchman has had some good scores on them as well, so might not feel the need to ban those out, and may want to opt for some of those mechanical maps instead.
Hopefully both these players will get their slots swapped after this warm-up, and we can get into things. as we get into this matchup. I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how well these players will scale into these higher star rating pools. I think that's the kind of big question for these two in particular, because we've seen them. Obviously, we saw them in 4-digit World Cup, right? But aside from that, I don't know of too many other tournaments where we've seen them in 7.5 star plus pools. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well they can handle a lot more difficult map pooling as we get into the semifinals and beyond in this tournament, as this is now a pretty tough pool. Finally, we get into some really tough stuff in this pool. Stuff like Shadow Castle Hidden makes its way in here. Stuff like the Agony Nomad Image Material Hidden, Tsunami Hard Rock from OWC last year, Enigma Helix DT is really tough. There's a lot of really tricky maps in this pool, and a lot of really tough mechanics picks in this pool as well.
Yeah, I see the average score is getting significantly lower. That's been kind of a trend for Canadian World Cup teams in the past at various stages. We tend to be pretty consistent early on in the tournament, but I hit a bit of a wall in the finals stage. So curious to see how these players perform. We get the first ban is going to be DT4 from Birchman. So doesn't want to play that more gimmicky DT pick, and immediately we get those tapping focus bans from Wanderio, but as expected. And then I'm curious if we do see that No Mod 6 or that HT2 banned next from Birchman.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, honestly, to see the DT4 ban. I would have really expected just something in the hidden pool. DT1. Apparently, they've just gentleman's agreemented to ban out the entire DT pool. So we'll be seeing no DT whatsoever for the entire match. So no DT, no high AR. Maximum approach rate allowed is 10. And we just get Nomad Hidden and Hard Rock between these two players, which honestly I think works out pretty well, except this is an odd one, because I really would have expected this kind of as a pick for Birchman. And instead it's Wanderio picking this, which, I mean, Birchman is saying help in chat, so maybe it does work out. I'm just very surprised to see Wanderio ban out DT2, DT3, and then pick the Nomad 2 instantly afterwards. Maybe my read on the players is a little bit wrong, but I really would have thought this is a Birchman pick in comparison to a Wanderio pick. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I generally would have agreed. It is quite speedy, but maybe Birchman not up to the 230 BPM. I mean, Birchman seems as surprised about the pick as we are, so maybe hasn't taken the time to really practice this one. But here we go into our first map of this match. We'll see if Wanderio has been cooking with these pick bans. Apparently they're in the same VC, which makes for a fun match. Early on, though, it's not looking so hot for Wanderio, as absolutely tanking the accuracy. Birchman about 6% ahead, and it's going to be off to a small lead. Combo's still alive for both players, and as we've seen in previous matchups, combo is king on this map, so accuracy not going to be the end of the world if you can play the combo game.
Oh, what? Hello?
Oh,
Tournament
that's
client?
new. Okay. Hello?
It was my PC for a second, but no.
Oh my.
Okay. Well, you know what? I guess I'm just gonna close the client. Like, hitting the panic button just doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Nope.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Yeah, I guess I'm closing the game client. Audio device again? Yeah, maybe. I'm just gonna close the tournament client here for a second.
We will be back, hopefully momentarily.
Hopefully momentarily.
I mean, the match between these two is just too much for Osu to handle. Could not comprehend the sheer power
Oh yeah,
of these two
yeah,
players.
it's the audio device bug. All right, wonderful. I love that. More time.
Well, now we've got no circles,
There we
but
go.
we're
That's
getting
better.
there. The map is still being played. Looks like they're now 2/3 of the way through. We see a lot of misses on the screen. We'll take a second to see that catch up. And it looks like Birchman is very far in the lead despite that miss. And this first pick really not paying off for Wanderio, so we may have been right on the mark, Dio, with our analysis.
I feel they may be just picking each other's picks. We'll see.
Very possible.
If they are in the same voice chat, they may just be picking for each other, literally. We'll see how that goes. Birchman, Nomad 1 incoming. Yeah. Birchman hidden 2 incoming, I feel, after this one.
That would be telling. I mean, Wanderio could FC the rest of the map, potentially, if we see, like, a whole lot of chain misses from Birchman.
Let's not get too crazy. Okay.
There it is.
We'll also say the one map that we haven't seen so far, aside from Tiebreaker, which we've had a one tiebreaker this entire tournament. Please, somebody else go to Tiebreaker. The one map that we haven't seen so far this pool is Nomad 6. So hopefully we can see that in this match or in the next one. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I imagine it's been banned out a fair bit across this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just banned quite a bit. Same goes for the Hidden 2, of course, although that has been played at least once in non-cycle versus Vesprit, but been no Nomad 6 play at all so far this weekend.
It's definitely a very tricky map. We do get the HD3 image material, so...
Okay. I mean, I guess that does make sense after the Nomad 2. I was just kind of surprised because I was thinking that this was them picking for each other, but I don't feel that Wanderio would actually pick Hidden 3 here.
I would be shocked. You know, maybe Wanderio's playing the long game. Tank the Nomad 2, so you can bait your opponent into picking the Hidden 3.
Right.
And now we're gonna see an image material Hidden FC right here.
If that is truly the case, as Wanderio just doesn't even want to load into the map. And now we get into image material for both of these players. Image material, one of the most well-known maps in the game, or at least it was for quite some time before the Fire Nation attacked. It's a classic. It's 260 BPM, mostly alt with a lot of bursts in it as well. It's AR10 and OD8 as God intended back in the day.
Yeah, and we've seen quite a few players missing on those alt patterns. They are certainly tricky along with the bursts, but as we saw yesterday, you can absolutely double tap your way through at least the first half of the map until you get to some of those longer, slightly more spaced out bursts. So we'll have to keep an eye on these players to see if either of them are double tapping this one.
So far, doesn't seem like any double tapping is around for either of these two. A lot of early act drops, but not too much during this section now that they've kind of adjusted to things, it seems.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the longest map in the pool, so there's going to be plenty of time for breaks, but there's also a ton of combo in this map, so we're going to see plenty of time for comebacks. There's the first longer stream, and Birchman is going to find the miss, so Wanderio might just be cooking after all, but still has a long way to go on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 450 combo in, not even 500 combo, so There's still quite a lot of time left in this map. This is a good 2,800 combo map or so. And there's a miss on one of the flowing alt sections for Wanderio. Clearly a little frustrated with himself. But not going to make it through that section. And now combo lead back to Birchman. About a 200 combo lead in his favor. Accuracy pretty even between the two players as well. Less than 0.5% in Birchman's favor. And now pretty much completely evened out after that last long burst. And yeah, score just kind of flickering back and forth. The 200 combo lead is not going to do too much in a map this long. It's less than 10% of the overall combo. And there's another miss to come through for Birchman. Now a 300 combo lead for Wanderio, as they just kind of keep trading back and forth in this map, both with decent accuracy up at 97%, but neither able to hold a huge combo at the moment.
Yeah, definitely getting to have some of these slightly longer patterns coming up. This is kind of the part of the map where the alt gets slightly trickier, so we could certainly see some more misses on those alt patterns. Wanderio finding a couple 100s, but does manage to hold on to the combo and just going to slowly build up this score lead. But I believe it's around the 2/3 mark where the map really starts to pick up in difficulty. See if anybody gets slow slidered. They really shouldn't.
Likely not. No misses on the triangles for either of these players. Doomsday pattern, those who know. And nobody else. Nobody finding any drops on any of these longer streams. Now Wanderio just with a solid 300 combo advantage for quite a while at this point. Not really any major difficulty patterns coming up here. Okay, they both just miss on the flame before the back and forth 1-2s. I was going to say except for the back and forth pattern, but they both just missed beforehand. And I am made a liar, and now combo is completely reset going into the calm before the storm. Less than a 25k score lead here for Wanderio as we get some free combo built up for both of these players before the hardest part of the map, the most speed-intensive part of the map, the most straining, difficult section coming up right after these slow sliders.
And stamina really starts to become an issue in this final stage here. You tend to see quite a few accuracy drops. The alt patterns are really brutal. It's going to be Wanderio with the first miss in this tricky section, but Birchman not too far ahead. Only 200 combo, not going to be quite enough to bring this one back quickly. That score lead is going back over there, down to 10,000. Every accuracy drop matters now, and both of them getting through that fast burst section.
And Birchman actually hitting the entire section, right? Wanderio finding a miss there during that section, or right before, is going to now bring a 450 combo lead to Birchman with another miss to come through for Wanderio. And it's been a slow start to this match with 2 picks in a row of pretty long maps. This one being the longest map in the pool at 6.5 minutes. Oh my god, Birchman, you had it, man. You actually had this map and just fumbled. Finds the chain miss, and now Wanderio back with another 150 combo, 160 combo lead. And the score lead is going to come his way rather slowly. I mean, it is barely inching over right now. This map just has so much combo. It is so long that even this 150 combo lead being held for this long just does nothing to move that bar over to Wanderio's side. It is 3,000 now, and he's had this combo lead for a good 25 seconds or so. And now we're coming up on the end of the map, just a sliver of song left. And just like that, instantly 25k vanishes as Wanderio finds a couple of chain misses in a row, and it's a 40k score swing over to Birchman's side. And Wanderio was hoping the map ended a little earlier than it did. Birchman gets slow slidered into the ending. Neither of these players locked in on the end, but I think Wanderio just fumbling a little bit more. Too many chain misses there at the end, and Birchman holding on just a little bit better is going to be able to take it. Image material win for Birchman by just about 20k.
Well, they certainly know how to put on a show. It is going to be Birchman up 2-0 now, so we'll have to see Wanderio go away from the tapping. We're hoping. I mean, there's not too much tapping left in the pool, I believe, with all the DTs, the No Mod 2, and the Hidden 3, all either banned or picked. We're going to get the Hard Rock one, and this seems to be a little more up Wanderio's alley here. Has been so good on these more aim-focused picks. Of course, this one just going to be more of your hard rock aim, fairly consistent.
Yeah, it's a Piroshki map. It's CS 5.85, which does actually matter on a map like this that is mostly aim-focused, right? It's kind of halfway in between, or exactly halfway in between your usual circle size for hard rock and your precision circle size for hard rock. So it is kind of a half precision aim map at the same time. And it's also quite awkward. There's a lot of wide angle jumps, a lot of anti-aim patterns in this map. It doesn't look that awkward, but when you are playing it, this is deceptively difficult. And the way that the patterns are put together is in such a way that makes it look not that bad, but play quite awkward, even though it does play well. And so this one can be really, really tough for a lot of people. There's also a lot of big diff spikes in this map, as one does with aim maps in general.
Yeah, definitely a map we've seen some lower scores on so far this weekend, and we've already seen quite a few misses. That's, I think, what we're going to come to expect on each one of those really tough aim sections. Of course, if either player can survive those big aim sections, they can try and get themselves a lead in this, what should be a free combo section, although we do see a miss on it from Wanderio, which means Birchman can take the score lead back over. But here we go into the next big Ki section. Wanderio finds a miss early on, but is immediately traded back, and that's going to keep the score pretty much dead even once again between these two players.
And no extra misses at the end of that Ki time, so both of them holding on to this little bit of combo. Slight score lead for Birchman, slight combo lead for Wanderio, slight act lead for Wanderio as well. So the score is going to come back his way, but for now it's on Birchman's side. And it's going to be a pretty slow coming because this combo lead is only about 20 in Wanderio's favor. Can be completely overwritten by accuracy, for example. So really has to hold on to this combo, because even if you hold, both the combo and the act are important here really for Wanderio at the moment, but the combo more so, as there's a miss for Birchman, and Wanderio now, yeah, this Hard Rock 1 is actually looking pretty good for him at this point, already up 45k, 50k just from this short section in this Ki time. Finally finds the miss, and it's 55k in Wanderio's favor. Only about 55 combo in Birchman's favor. Wanderio, though, finds the chain, but both of them finding breaks during this section. This is the hardest part of the map. That stream into this ridiculous aim section is just brutal.
Yeah, Birchman having a pretty tough time with it, and not going to be bringing this one back. Seems like Wanderio should be able to finally put a point up on the board here and secure. It does find the slider break right at the end of that pattern, but the work has been done. Score lead 100,000 points, and it's going to be 2-1 now.
Yeah, and honestly, decent score from Wanderio on this. Second best score so far that we have seen this weekend. Only bested by Zex on this map so far this weekend. So solid score from Wanderio there, 450k. Looks not too shabby.
Oh,
and there's the mid-off comment. Yeah, I'm expecting that.
Of course. Yeah, curious to see where Birchman goes from here, especially with the DTs, the tapping all banned out. Gonna have to find a different direction. I mean, maybe we see some more of the hard rock focus picks. I think Birchman has looked pretty solid on things like the Hard Rock 2, so that is still an option.
Now, it looks like it's just going to be the Nomad 5 here for Birchman. It's an interesting one. This is kind of a mixed bag sort of pick. A lot going on in this map. A lot of really tricky snap aim control patterns in this. Some somewhat difficult sliders, some sub-tapping at 207 BPM, so a little bit of tapping difficulty. A lot of just general aim difficulty in this map as well. It's tiebreaker without the length.
Yeah, definitely tricky in the rhythmic department as well. And so I'll have to keep an eye on some of those accuracies. But I don't expect to see too many struggles early on between these two players. I think this is the first map we've seen so far from Birchman that Wanderio could at least plausibly get a breakpoint on, so that would be huge to even this one up because he will need a breakpoint at some point in this match, and both players looking incredibly comfortable, at least early on.
And just a slight misaim there for Wanderio on one of the streams now gives Nevermind no combo lead over as Birchman looks like under aims a note at the bottom of the screen there on one of those big jumps. And now back to combo lead for Wanderio just slightly. Another couple of slider breaks to come through for Birchman there. It's again an under aim at the bottom of the screen. And so now Wanderio out ahead in combo. Out ahead a little bit in the accuracy as well, or rather evened out, but more in combo in his favor right now. And another break there from Birchman. Just seems to have lost his footing a little bit, over aims the cut there at the end of that stream. And now Wanderio looking much, much better halfway into this map. And never, okay, my bad, bro.
It's a trade, but a trade at this point isn't bad for Wanderio. Has that 40,000 point lead to work with. And if we keep seeing these continued misses from Birchman, it's going to be very difficult to bring this one back because Wanderio was on a decent recovery. Did miss on that wiggle pattern, but with half the map to go, 45,000 points is certainly not out of the woods, but it is a decent score margin on this map. Just needs to hold on a fair bit longer. That miss is not going to help things out as now Birchman has an angle back into this one with about a 200 combo advantage.
This now is actually pretty close between the two of them. It's less than a 30k score lead for Wanderio, about 160 combo lead for Birchman, and this eventually should come over. I mean, this is dense enough at the end. There's enough combo for this to come back the way of Birchman. There's still so much going on in this map. And Wanderio just needs to hold this combo, needs to pray for a miss from Birchman, and there it is. And Wanderio now, I think, pretty much in the clear score lead, instantly up to just about 40k. Does find the drop there to trade with Birchman, but not after blooming that score lead about 30k instantly in his favor. Just at 27k by the end of the map, but that is a tied up game state 2-2. Nicely done by Wanderio. Birchman with the better combo. Wanderio with the better accuracy and just, I think, more consistent combo throughout the map.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a very quick Hard Rock 2 pick. That's not necessarily what I was expecting. We're going to get the CS 6.5 map, 1516. A little bit of a tech element to the precision. And I mean, to be fair, Wanderio has been solid on the pick, but Birchman has certainly proven throughout this tournament to be very capable on some of these precision-focused picks. So slightly surprising, but we'll see how it pays off. What is going on with Wanderio? Having some tech issues? Oh no, the map we're just going to need is playing the wrong map currently on stream.
Oh, that is that's a great tournament client bug. Hold on.
It is.
That's a wonderful bug. Okay. I mean, in theory, I think this is a pretty good pick for Birchman, actually.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I think so too. But I guess they're just picking for each other. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on exactly. I don't know exactly what shenanigans they're pulling in voice chat with each other and Rumi and who else is in that voice chat right now? And Insert apparently is also in the voice chat. I don't know what's going on in there. However, we said this is maybe a good pick for Birchman. Wanderio is just crushing it right now. Still holding the FC. 97 accuracy on this Hard Rock 2. And just, I mean, completely destroying this map. Into the burst section here. This high BPM burst section got nothing. Does finally find a drop on its Buzz Slider, it looked like. But this is a huge score for Wanderio.
Yeah, I mean, 300,000 points. It's just pure domination. Hard Rock 2 in the end turns out to be a very good pick. I mean, Birchman definitely having the better ending of the map, but it's far too little too late into the map. And it is going to be, for the first time in this match, Wanderio finding themselves in the lead. And, you know, Birchman tried to go for that. It wasn't the Hard Rock one. Why am I forgetting the map that Birchman picked?
The Nomad 5.
The Nomad 5, yes, tried to go for something more rhythmic, but didn't quite work out. So once again, Birchman is going to have to find a new direction for these picks. Before this map, I would have thought Hard Rock 2 would have been a good option, but clearly not the case.
No, that's the top score of the weekend there for Wanderio by about 120,000 points. So pretty solid stuff for him. Beats out everyone else in the tournament so far that we have seen play this map. The only person that we haven't seen play this that's actually still in the tournament is Azer, as Rupershan's already played this as well. So yeah, it's looking pretty good there for Wanderio on that map. And now Birchman, I mean, looking at Nomad 1, I'm looking at Hard Rock 3 potentially for Birchman. What has he won so far, really? I mean, we've had...
That's really just been the speed.
Yeah, just the Nomad 2 and the Hidden 3 have been wins for him, so I think you just go with mechanics. Instead, it's the Hidden 4, which... you know, Birchman's not really known as a hidden player, but he did win image material, so maybe there's something there, you know?
There you go. But also, Shadow Castle is a banger, so I really can't complain. I mean, this one does kind of follow in the same style-ish as Nomad 5, you could say. It's kind of got that alty, rhythmic feel to it. But of course, quite tech-heavy as well. We could very well see another breakpoint here from Wanderio. I think if that's the case, Birchman could be in a lot of trouble, but we'll have to see how this pick goes. There are some absolutely brutal patterns in this map. It is probably one of the hardest maps in the pool.
Yeah, you have to make micro aim adjustments for basically every single part of these streams, which is just kind of crazy. It's
especially when you throw Hidden on there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a really ridiculous map. It's not the hardest that it could possibly be, but it is pretty goddamn hard. We do see actually Birchman holding on to the better combo. Wanderio on better accuracy, but the combo is winning right now for Birchman, and there's a random slider break on nothing. He's hitting every other part of the streams, but he slider broke on air, and now he's got a chain miss on his hands, and now Wanderio's accuracy starts to really matter quite a lot, because when you have a 4% ac lead, all you need is for the opponent to not FC, basically, and you should be able to come out on top. That said, now that 4% lead's down to a 2% lead as the chain miss comes through for Wanderio, and the recovery comes through for Birchman. And so that kind of a dominant ac lead no longer exists in this map, and Wanderio now in much more danger of losing to some combo gaming from Birchman, once again up in combo, about 120, 130 combo up.
Yeah, I mean, with how easy it is to chain miss an entire pattern on this map, that 15,000 point lead could evaporate in an instant if Wanderio finds a miss at the wrong spot. It's going to be the chain miss from Birchman instead, though, and Wanderio is working on rebuilding this accuracy lead as well, so now Birchman can do nothing but hope for another set of misses from Wanderio, but Wanderio approaching 500 combo, really pushing that score lead now, pulling further and further away from Birchman and on the verge of getting that second breakpoint in a row.
Does find that break once again. Another couple of drops, but there goes Birchman once again, and Wanderio, I think, is pretty secure in this lead. I mean, there's still a chance for this to come back, but this part of the map gets even harder. The spacing increases a little bit. It's the same type of aim control within the streams, even with that increased spacing. And so both of these players are likely to just miss a lot more in this ending section. And that just favors the player already ahead. Wanderio up 57,000 on Birchman on this Hidden 4. And the Hidden 4 pick, Shadow Castle, not working out for Birchman in this match. And Wanderio taking yet another breakpoint, up now 4-2. Was down 2-0 at the start of this match, and now up 2-4 in his favor, winning 4 in a row. Birchman needs a kind of miracle here as we get the Nomad 1 for Wanderio.
I mean, yeah, there's no surprises here. I think Wanderio had the only FC on last week's Nomad 1. Put up 983,000 points. Wanderio has been looking so good on pretty much anything aim focused.
Yeah, this is, I think, a good pick for him once again. And let's see how well he does on this week's Nomad 1. This one's got some hands. This is a Quantum Vortex map. If you're familiar with aim mapping in general, you will know that that means he is part of the Grand Senpai crew. Lots of really high spacing jumps kind of all over the map. And yes, there are defined ki times and diff spikes, but the in-betweens in this are still quite difficult, quite high spacing for the BPM and intensity.
Yeah, it's definitely quite the step up from last week's Nomad 1. Wanderio has already found the miss, but this is a pretty lengthy map, so it's not going to be all that consequential.
Side effect of that, though, you do have to pop off a little bit now, right? You have to, okay. Or your opponent can just miss in the in-between section. Again, this in-between section is still hard. This is still missable. It is easier than the ki times, but it's not like it's easy, just in general. So, unfortunate miss there for Birchman. Wanderio, I think, can be very happy about that now going into this second ki time. There was one right at the start of the map. Those huge back and forth cross screen jumps getting Wanderio there. Birchman able to hold on. And these streams, just a little bit of free combo to go along with that advantage from these massive cross screens. Wanderio finding the miss during the ki time. Birchman hitting every ki time so far. Just the one miss during the middle section, where you have some slightly easier patterning, but still very high spacing. It can kind of catch you off guard a little bit at times.
Well, certainly can, and Birchman has taken over that score lead now. So once again, Wanderio find themselves in a similar position to the one they were at the start of the map, where you need to outperform Birchman on these really tough ki sections. Both players holding their combo. There goes Birchman. Now Wanderio should be able to bring this score lead back.
I think I don't know if it's a focus issue or what, but he's just a little bit less locked in during these during the verses than Wanderio, and Birchman paying the price for it with lots of misses leading into this next ki time. And Wanderio, if he's able to hit this ki time, he's basically home free with it, with how big of a combo lead he has at the moment. And Birchman is just finding so many misses during this part. Finally, a miss comes through for Wanderio, but this is quite a big lead now for Wanderio. 57k up on Birchman with no combo lead for either player, no combo for either player, period. And a 1% AC lead in Wanderio's favor. I think this is pretty much already over, barring massive pop-off from Birchman and massive flop-off for Wanderio. Well, that's step one of a flop-off there, getting slow-slatted right before the ending.
Yeah, Birchman's going to need a little more combo than that. On a map this long, 56,000 points is a pretty sizable margin, and so we're going to need probably 3 more flop-offs from Wanderio for Birchman to bring this one back, and we're going to see Birchman pretty much nail the rest of the map. It is a bit of a tall ask, but I suppose it wouldn't be the craziest thing, but I think, unfortunately, time has run out for Birchman. It's going to be match point for Wanderio here.
Yeah, there's another miss for Wanderio. Hold on a second.
It's going back over.
Is it really match point for Wanderio? Hold on a second here. Another miss comes through. It's still the combo for Birchman. Wait a second, 15k. There's no combo here at the end. There's a couple of bursts, but there's maybe time. No, there's no bursts. It's just these jumps. Is there enough combo? Oh, there's not 3,600 for Wanderio. He does flop the ending, and Birchman does pop off, but it's just not quite enough to bring it back to Birchman's side. And instead of evening things out, we get even more points for Wanderio. Match point now, 5-2 off of a 3,600 point advantage on the Nomad 1. That's honestly AC difference right there. 800s to 15. You even that out, and Birchman wins that map. Super, super close on the Nomad 1. And now we get right into the last unplayed map in the regular pool. Nomad 6 here for Birchman. Low AR, flow aim in the Nomad pool.
Yep, and interestingly enough, Wanderio was the top performer on last week's Nomad 6 as well by about 150,000 points, with Birchman coming in second. So definitely 2 players that like this style of lower AR map, but so far, or I shouldn't say so far, at least last week, Wanderio has had the edge and is playing the wrong map again. Wanderio just doesn't want to cooperate today, you know?
No, he really does not.
He just wants to be a little different. There we go.
Birchman? What happened, bro?
This is the story of Birchman for these last 2 maps. Nailing the hardest parts, missing on air. It's going to give Wanderio a pretty big lead. I mean, this is a short map, so these early misses do actually matter a fair bit for Birchman. And both players immediately falling apart on this section. We see why this map is yet to be picked. This is absolutely brutal, but it says these are not misses that Birchman can afford. The accuracy advantage is brutal in favor of Wanderio, and it's a 50,000 point lead. I mean, we're going to need to see another, absolute flop from Wanderio in pretty much the entire second half.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Birchman is just not recovering in the necessary way with that accuracy. Still going down. Now he's 7% Canyon for Wanderio. And this is... It's looking rough. It's looking rough. Another 75k score lead in Wanderio's favor. That doesn't sound like much, but both players' combined score is less than 300k right now. So that is an absolutely massive score lead. And Birchman, I mean, just needs a miracle. He needs a miracle in this last third of the map to not get knocked down to loser's bracket 6-2, to continue his winner's bracket run for at least one more map. And that miracle is not finding him right now. That said, honestly, it kind of is actually massive AC drop for Wanderio, down to 85%. Huge chain miss. That 80k score lead is now down to 20k. It's coming even further, actually, as more chain misses come through for Wanderio. Birchman did not recover very well, but Wanderio has actually dropped the score down quite a bit now. I don't know if there's enough time, though. I think all the hard patterns are basically gone now in the map. And that means that this one is over. This map is done with. This match is done with. Wanderio takes both and takes the match 6-2.
Yeah, with 6 straight points after going down early on, Wanderio will have secured a spot in the grand finals and is moving on to the winners bracket finals against, I believe, Rumindra. Of course, Birchman will be dropping to face off against the winner of Rupertian versus Azer. I believe that match is that later today?
That
In like
is
20
in
minutes?
approximately 20 minutes, yeah. But just a quick congratulations to Wanderio on the win and on a guaranteed top 3, and good luck to Birchman in the losers bracket. Think a quick correction though. I don't think Rumi moved on to the winners bracket. It's going to be the winners bracket
no.
finals of TS Fury versus Wanderio. Nujabes versus Wanderio there in the winners bracket finals. And we do almost have a completed losers bracket as well. On one side, it's going to be Rumi versus Non-Cycle. And on the other side, it's Birchman versus that winner of Rupertian versus Azer. As you said, that match starting in 17 minutes. So grab a snack, grab something to drink, and come on back for our last match of the weekend in Redlock. Once again, congratulations to Wanderio and good luck to Birchman in the losers bracket. Thank you to iFlame for casting with me. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all in 15 minutes or so for the last match of the weekend.